Hi everyone, today this tutorial is going to explain how to read and more importantly understand a research article. Now I want to start by saying that I'm currently completing a course in human research and I've been learning a great deal about how to successfully read and most importantly understand a research article. I would like to also state that for me, reading and understanding a research paper is not something I can do in a matter of 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. I'm just beginning my master's program and I'm beginning to understand these research articles. So I typically spend maybe an hour or two really dissecting the article to understand all of the many components that go into this. It can be quite intimidating for someone who is just starting out. And I will say I'm going to do my very best to explain it to you as I am still learning. But one of my favorite tips that has been so helpful for me so far is that Dr. Cow said that if you read the intro and the abstract and you still don't understand what the article is about, you need to pick a different article. So it's important to note that the abstract is something that tells you about everything in the article. I start by first reading the introduction. And I've just pulled up a research article here about integrating technology into the classroom, just for the purpose of showing you what is in the research article. So you want to read the introduction first because it tells you about the research article. And while you're reading that introduction, you want to say, what is the big question that this article is trying to answer? So I feel like the big question here is technology being used in the classroom to help achieve pedagogical goals and scalable technologies? They used 4 research technologies: classroom chat, classroom response system, e-lectures, and mobile virtual reality. And throughout this research article, they're going to talk about which were the most effective. So then after I would read that introduction and knew that big question, I would want to know why the researcher is asking this question. Why is it significant? For all of us who use technology in our classroom, I think for this article, it is pretty obvious why it's significant. As teachers, we're expected to use and integrate so much technology in our classrooms, especially after the horrific pandemic that happened last year. It was really, without technology, we couldn't have reached our students. So that to me is very significant as to why they want to answer these questions. Something else I just want to touch on, a lot of my professors want the articles we're using to be current. So they will have a time limit, nothing before 2016. It's really important to make sure before you do all your work, you have an up-to-date article because research can change because we live in an ever-changing world. This article is actually from February 1st, 2021. So it's definitely current. You would want to go down and also ask yourself what methods were used in this research, how were the samples chosen, what type of testing was completed, how long did the research take, what evidence did the researchers find, can they support their claims, can they cite that evidence, can that cited evidence then be researched and verified independently. Another thing that I think is important is to look for tables and diagrams of the information that was researched. They don't always have them, but I found that good ones do. So they have here examples of the different types of charts they use. They definitely have lots of images, which is helpful. And that's what I'm looking for right here. There were diagrams, tables, etc. to showcase their research findings. After you kind of dissect that, then you can go down, you can read about the procedure they used. So earlier I said, how much time did this research take? And they said 3 months of using these tools. They had students filling out their questionnaires. And were the students random? What type of students did they choose? Was it from a university? Was it from an elementary school? All of these things are really important when analyzing your research paper. And when I'm reading one, I always have a pen and paper handy, and I'm just writing things down that I know are going to be important after I'm done reading this paper. So then they have an analysis of their data, the results of their data, and they will have their conclusion or discussion at the end, and they found that the CRS was rated the best. I actually did use this research paper for another assignment in a psychology in the classroom class, so it was a good article. So my best tip, like I said, make sure you can understand the introduction and the abstract, and even the conclusion. And if all of it looks foreign and none of it makes sense, even after you read it a couple times, you might want to choose a different article. Also, it's not something you can read like picking up the newest novel and just skimming through it and understanding what's going on. Sometimes I read these papers and I ask myself, what in the world did I just read? So it's important to not just read for fluency, but for comprehension as well. Otherwise, you won't be able to answer the questions or use the research to your advantage. So those are my tips for effectively reading and understanding a research article as a first semester student in my master's program. I hope that helped, and you have a great day. Bye.